Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Dave Lees.
I'm Jonathan Byer, and again, reiterating, this is not my home.
Not my home either, but I stayed here. Listen, I was at a family party yesterday. I came home. I was like, I've got to watch that Glacier Falls before the feed goes awry, and good air conditioning for
Yes, smart. I'm still up in Chautauqua where it's like 60 degrees, so I don't even know what you're talking about. It's crazy.
It's okay. It's all right. You know what? We were going to discuss ice skating. It's cooler energy. It's nice. And imagine you are very calm.
Yeah.
How are you? So Glacier Falls was this weekend, and I have to tell you, the pairs were the highlight of the event for me.
Agreed. Well, yeah. Also, I mean, you had the fortunate experience of being able to watch the women, and unfortunately for me, the link had expired by the time I got around to it. So discuss. I want to know all the Audrey Shin situation.
Well, if you missed it, the feed always goes away for this particular competition. We had a TSL live, so it's archived there. You can see all the things and all the skaters. It was the Tammy Gamble Championships through and through. And we need to talk about Todd Eldridge and his texting addiction, which, I mean, I'm not like really one to talk, but compared to Todd, I feel great. And I've actually been working on it over the last 6 months. So I feel like better about this. But Tammy has like 20 to 30 skaters.
Like, I just can't imagine how you can divvy up so much of your energy and time that way.
Well, I heard that each skater gets 20 minutes, and
it's not a lot.
I do think that it takes more time than that to be creative with music and and there's a complete formula, right? I mean, it kind of almost looks like gymnastics when they have like every routine looks the same, like when the Carolis used to have tons of girls, if you go watch stuff from the 80s. So yeah, it's a lot. And they look, it's like the gymnastics team. It's like the formula is the kind of music, the kind of dress, the hair all looks the same, and so on and so forth. But there were positives to this. They have a new skater, Elise Lynn Garci, who looks, she's going to be in the Junior Grand Prix, and she was very impressive. At the senior level, Audrey Shin won, and she was actually one I didn't recognize because she has like new energy. She was skating to Adele. It was way more mature. She had more power to her skating, at least more like aggressive energy, at least.
And did you tell me she's working with Malinin now?
Yes, it's listed. So I don't know why Malinin is listed and not Ilia's dad, but whatever. It's maybe she's working with both, but they list Tatiana, however that works in the ISU bio. So yeah, I don't, again, we don't know what those details are, but the jumps still have like a slight wrap to them, and how she lands the jumps is always a little questionable, just like her actual technique. But she overall was impressive, at least for this part of the season.
Well, and you've talked about like at IM, for instance, that they sort of have specialists for each thing.
Yes.
And would that not benefit the Colorado skaters as well then?
Yes, and they definitely need someone with point of view. But I think you can kind of see with how Tammy dresses herself that she's rather conservative. So her skaters are all safe in a sense, right? Like,
yeah.
I just mean like Tammy always looks like she's in like these gray pants with the USA jacket, like, and all of her skaters look kind of the same. They're all in pastels with too many stones, almost like cake frosting, right? Like, or like frozen cake pops is kind of what they are.
Yeah, the birthday cake pops from Starbucks or whatever. Yeah.
That are like way too sweet, and that's kind of like what the skaters seem like a bit. But yeah, they were
nothing offensive if not memorable. Then is sort of the vibe that camp gives me. Yeah,
a lot of carrot cake for Tammy, a lot of under rotated jumps, a lot. But they were. Yes, but the most interesting, honestly, was Sonja Hilmer, and she skated to this free program that she does her own choreography. She skated to music of Avatar, but not the movie. It's some Nickelodeon show that's for people younger than us, Jonathan. But she did the choreography herself, it's a really interesting program because she is interested in it as she did it, and she looked more confident. She's done well early season
I
before.
really thought she was going to be a thing at this point last year because she was really thriving in the early part of the season, and then things got.
Remember, I saw her at Cranberry when I went to the invitational portion, not the international portion, 2 years ago, and she had done her own program, and I was blown away. She skated like the program of her life. But she's done more of them recently. Like, she's on the up. She's getting more consistent, with putting out these performances and getting a name for herself. It was so interesting is that she did the whole program well and was clearly adding difficulty. And at the last moment, she just like ran out of gas at the end of the program, which happens especially under pressure early in the season. And she does the triple sow change edge, double sow in the other direction as the last element to the program.
Hard.
Just sat it down. She just had no speed to get that double sow around, and you can tell, like, however you try to pre-rotate it
wasn't happening this
was
day.
not happening.
Okay.
Overall, the program was great. I thought it was really nice.
Well, and in talking compared to like formulaic programs that are given to you and you're almost just being plugged into them, just also see someone like take ownership of the movements because they're their own. Yes. I don't know. I would think you just skated a little differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the men, it was interesting to see a couple high-level men together. Like Kai Kovar was there, and he was very impressive. I don't know what's going on with Yaro, but he's not young, right? And he's such a talented jumper, but he seems to always be coming back from injury. And it's a little unnerving to see that he's always having these problems. They make him like the fun throwback skater. I mean, he's skating a Queen program in a costume that only a mother could love. But it's very Halloween costumey.
Yeah.
But he has a shtick to it.
I felt there was a real opening for him a couple years ago.
There was.
And just unfortunately, for whatever
he doesn't really have the spins or the footwork. It's because his crossovers are not bad. But when you look at his overall skating skills, they could be better. He reminds me very much of like a 1990 Soviet skater. But he seems to always be coming back from injury, and he was doing like up through triple lutz and double axles. Hopefully he's healthy and can build. I don't think he'll get any international assignments from this. I don't know where this is going at this point. I've kind of lost hope,
and there was a great deal of excitement for me around him, that one nationals where you thought, okay, is this really going to take off now?
Yeah, and for whatever reason, right? Did he have boot problems and injuries? And remember at nationals, he stopped. And in Nashville, it's just been one thing after another. So, which is, whether it's his fault or not, it's hard. You stop believing at this point, like this isn't going to happen. I don't know. He still looks like he's capable of delivering great performances. I don't know if he's capable of being that all-around great skater, but he certainly looks like athletically, and he's one of the more interesting skaters. I mean, listen, I like Queen. It was one of the more entertaining performances of the competition, but it kind of a hot mess at the same time. Yeah. So, and then for the rest of the competition, Todd Eldridge was on camera, standing like back in the doorway while the other senior men are going, and like he wasn't watching them at all. Okay, like he got his titles. He doesn't need to see these. None of them were doing anything. Todd didn't think so. Like he was just like on his phone. He was on his phone.
Yeah. Okay.
So good. You're so good. You could not. It was like.
And for the camera to catch it each time. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it was so funny. I don't think he looked up. Okay, boys were landing jumps. Liam Kapeikis skated, and there are some good things. I think he probably needs to not skate with his parent. Like he just looks like he's at that age where you need to go off to college and find a coach that everyone doesn't have and kind of do your own thing.
Who's also meeting you where you're at now, not where you were then, you know.
I think it's interesting. He has his arms lower than other people do on his jumps, like on the entrances, and it's like it's very reminiscent of Courtney Hicks to me and how she jumps. I don't know if it works for him or not, but he often seems a little back on his blade.
Also, are we putting a pause in this? Because I don't know that we've discussed it. Is Courtney Hicks making a comeback?
Yes.
Okay. And
I don't know if it's more impressive that she's back, like in the mix in a sense, or if it's like unimpressive that the women haven't like pushed her down, but she's kind of like where she left.
Okay.
Like maybe she was like 6th, 7th, like yesterday. Like, and that's, I mean, it's impressive that she was able to like get back and clearly love skating. I don't know if the free is as good as the short. I thought the free was a lot, but she's an athlete for sure. That was, yeah, I mean, she's kind of back where she left. So
got it.
Yeah. But we were laughing right before we started this. The other thing about, Liam Kapeikis, a little off. Also, he has music in the short program that's like, I am dying, I die, I'm dying. Not the best choice. Not
new.
And another one, a skater that's just had too many problems, Steven Gogolev withdrew from here. And at this point, it's like, where is this going?
Yeah. Although I'm in support of maybe lay low for a little bit until you sort out whatever needs to be sorted out.
You know, skating's an expensive sport. When you know what they're paying, I was sending people off to college left and right yesterday, or shows or anything. Eric Schoberg had a great short, the free depressing music and one pop after another. I don't know what happened, but it was, I mean, he obviously can do the jumps. He did a good job in the short, but it was a really rough outing. Just looks like tense, and it has to be weird when Raphael doesn't go to the competition, but his underlings are there. Like, that's very strange. Like this vibe, whereas Raphael been the last 2-3 years, he only shows up for the ultra important skate. I don't think that's a great vibe for the other skaters.
Yeah.
In the camp. I don't.
Well, because it must somehow subconsciously downplay the event you're doing.
Yes.
You know, like it doesn't, it's got to be a weird feeling.
Yeah. So, weird thing. And we were laughing before we came on because you were asking me who Chelsea Liu used to skate with. And I was like going back in time because we remember her, Danny O'Shea. Before that, I was like, wait, it was Brian Johnson before that. Jenny Mino has like this stable of white corn-fed, like Midwestern seeming boys. Like, where are they all from? They all seem almost like the skating version of
because we went through it was like Chris and Brandon.
Wait, we got Chris Knierim, Danny O'Shea. They had Brian Johnson. You know, Nate is no longer skating, he's coaching. He took the Chris Knierim role, and Brandon is helping out. You know, Chris was there. You know, I don't know that there's an artistic straight boy in the bunch, but was Zach Sadu one of theirs, or was he just in California?
Yeah, okay.
You know, Chelsea's been with Mino and Sand for a long time. She's been several partners. I'm just saying, but now she is skating with Balazs Nagy. That was an enormous twist that they did.
I had to rewatch it like 100 times because I was like, this is pretty amazing. And like all the ingredients are right there. Like, okay, so some of the timing on the side-by-sides was like a second off, or, you know, and the style is still not clear maybe which way they're going to go. However, it was just so encouraging to see because I was like, this is a team you envision growing and becoming even better.
Giving Balazs Nagy history, he at one point skated with Kate Finster. They were with Delilah. The mom, she also had a brother, Chase, who skated with Delilah. The mom sold the Red Hats at the Nationals in 2019. They then split, and I believe the mom's initials are on that Delilah report that's 535 pages without the appendices. Is supposed to be thousands when it's finally done, and that's a whole discussion on how long that takes because of the funding of Safe Sport, but digressing, which seems intentional by the US OPC potentially, if they're not going to fund it further, right? Is this right? So moving along, I thought that, and Balazs then skated for Hungary with a Russian girl who was imported and got citizenship in a matter of months, through Gergen, who got pushed out of Hungary. So it was like a 3-month deal to get citizenship in Hungary, and they trained for Hungary in Russia, which was going on a lot with the Hungarian Federation, which is part of why he's no longer there. So but I really think Balazs and Chelsea, like
it looked good. Yeah.
And I was forgetting what she always missed with Danny, because remember they pushed them together very quickly. There were some real bright spots, but it just didn't gel in time. This one, it looks promising. I have to say that.
So, actually, yeah.
There was no unison, like at all. Like,
no, but to me, that's like early season, early partnership. All that stuff is like, those are easy things to correct. I think like the more difficult things are falling into place pretty immediately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it does look like Jenny Mino and her boys, though. When they're all around her, like, you just have to laugh. Like, oh man! And apparently Todd Sand was at the rink about a week ago, so they showed him. So that was
nice to hear.
Because
we also saw Nate's old partner,
Katie McBeath,
and they also had some nice moments. I think obviously Chelsea
Daniil Parkman. So she's skating with the Georgian boy who they brought in, and this looks like rather promising.
Yeah, they went for the triple toe loop double axel. They landed the triple toe loop very nicely. It was the double axel that gave them both issues, but it's nice to see also these two women that in the past I may have remembered as it's somewhat inconsistent, but they were doing a really, really good job here. It was really encouraging.
I never thought that Katie and Nate were a great match, like stylistically. And she was just learning pairs, and he was so injured, but it looked like they liked each other, but it just wasn't gonna work at this point. You know, his best days had been
long before.
Yeah. So and she was just learning. So it looks like this is a better suited partnership. And Chelsea and Balazs look quite good if they can, stay together. The US needs those pairs. So, it looks last year, pairs was so pitiful at nationals, but at least this year there's some depth to the field. So, and then, we'll see some, the pairs from Boston, with Misha's new partner, and then Danny and his partner seem to they're doing better. So there's like 5 or 6 pairs in the US to kind of round this out. So hopefully this is last year nationals
that was tough. Yeah.
That was a rough watch. So this week we also have the Lake Placid competition, and it was so funny because certain people I think just took last season off, and when I tweeted out, retweeted the entry, someone's like, wait, why is Diana Davis competing for Georgia? And I was like, I'm not replying to this. I'm not replying to I can't. Okay. We've done a million videos on this. If you can't Google it, just no.
Where have you been? Yeah.
Girl, bye. Okay, I can't. Okay, yes. But I wish that we were able to watch Lake Placid, because
why weren't we able to? Do they not?
It's first of all, it's on a Monday and a Tuesday, and I want to see the different dancers. It's a really great lineup.
Lake Placid's always been the most exciting dance event at this time. Yeah. But I felt like sometimes in the past we have been able to see it.
I know, and I'm even intrigued because I skate with the Israeli teams. So, Masha and Misha are doing a George Michael medley, which I love George Michael. They are siblings. That's a little some of the songs, but whatever. What are you going to pick from the 80s that's not, right? So,
right.
And they're in a thing because they skate every day with Shira, who has her new partner, and Shira's got this magnetic personality and seems really close with Galit, but Misha and Masha are workhorses. So I don't know. I'm team them. You know what? They are just pushing through it. So
and what was the competition you said Lindsay was at?
She was at one in Charleston. So but the reason why Lake Placid is last year, in ice dance. I think I said a million times that I didn't think that there were any stars at the top, and that I felt like the world title was between a bunch of people who were maybe a previous outside shot for bronze. And I still feel that way. I still feel like Papadakis and Cizeron could decide to come back a year before and
take it all.
Take it all, unless like the Czech team moves to Montreal or the younger Czech team, not the one that did the global warming program.
No, the junior.
Maybe they were accurate about, but maybe I just didn't want to watch on the ice, right? Yeah. So, anyway, Zingis and Kolesnik are supposed to move up, and they're with Igor Shvilban. And I was just kind of thinking about the ice dance shakeup. They're expected to become second or like third this year in the US. Apparently they look good. Igor knows how to get it done. He knows how to get it done politically. And I haven't, Green and Parsons really lost so much momentum last year. And I know we had always debated whether or not they should have gone to the Olympics in 2022. I know you think that they should have. I thought Hawaii and Baker were the right choice based on the free dance at nationals. And the skating skills overall. But with Hawaii and Baker, they've lost momentum now by being out. And then people don't know, like it's almost like there's a lack of confidence where you're like, are they going to just return to form? And I don't think it's because of any one thing. It's like they lost time. She had a bad concussion. She has had a bad knee injury. They've had struggles. They said it affected her mental health. And they're not young. You're like, okay, they have to come back and either be amazing or
call it.
Call it. And because they will get passed in the US if they don't, right? So it's like, are they staying second? Then I was listening to that Anthony Ponomarenko and Christina Carrera, and they both seemed so nice. I think he has had, a tough life, right? Like, and his ankle injury has not been great, and they seem like hardworking kids. It was always interesting that they were in that I am in with Scott Moyer, right over the border. She lives in Michigan, and they drive back and forth. And I just kept thinking, like, man, they are like really working hard. I mean, to drive that many miles and hours and crossing the border every day, and they just have that energy like it's not going to happen when you watch them. And I know that because of his parents, everyone thinks like, no, they're hardworking kids, they're going to get there. And you're like, Zingis and Kolesnik are coming.
I almost would have had them third at this last nationals over Carrera and Ponomarenko.
And they were talking about that they were third at nationals and were very disappointed because they didn't put them on the world teams. That then they were at Four Continents. They felt like some depression and like imposter syndrome, which you understand. But in this world of ice dance where people aren't moving on, Chalk and Bates are likely going to stay in,
kicking around,
maybe until the Olympics. Like now she's opening up a dress consulting business I saw this week, which is great for her. It makes a lot of sense. Maybe she'd get into wedding dresses or something, right? Like besides skating. I just started to think like, who's going to move up? There's only so much room, right? And unless Green and Parsons are the odd one out, right? And then you think, okay, so if Marie-France loses Hawaii and Baker, they're going to need another strong US team to keep that US judge. Just realistically how this works in ice dance, they're going to need to keep the political power in Montreal. Okay, like I think at this point, can we cut the shit? Like they have 20 different countries for a reason. Okay, when you see the 25th ranked dance team from, I don't know, Tunisia, and they're going to Montreal, it wasn't because they necessarily thought that they were so talented and just couldn't wait to work with them. We're really inspired by their incredible ability on the ice. Like this is patently about judges at this point, but
that helps everyone within the camp. Yeah.
Certainly, yes. Although, how do they compete within the camp? I'm fascinated by that. Like, how can that be healthy? I don't know, right? But they seem to have no one's leaving, right? But maybe everyone's afraid to. But they do a good job with what they have.
And again, as opposed to, as we've discussed on the show many, many, many times, they have avoided formula.
Yes.
So I'm all about them as long as they're keeping everybody fresh and individual. I think it's remarkable. I don't think that must be an easy task at all.
Except for when we don't know what the theme of your free dance is.
For example?
The Chalk and Bates free dance, like what was that?
Oh yeah. The breath of the one last year.
What was that, Jonathan? It never worked. Okay, it was there
When
was
they
an
added the
idea.
gasp or whatever at the end, I was still like, I'm not quite sure what's happening.
It had great lifts.
The great split move. Yeah.
No idea what it was about. Watched it for a year. Okay. Didn't leave an impression that was positive. Also remember the Lithuanians, the Alison Reed program where Renee Roker was like, what was that about?
Happening.
What's happening?
Yeah.
I love Renee. Oh,
and then that was the one we were talking about, the other up and comers. I'm interested in watching the Finnish team. Like, I'm really interested what kind of material they come out with. And really, based on what happened last season, I'm very eager to see, or have we heard any announcements about what Green and Parsons are doing this season?
I don't, and I'm very curious because they're another one. Listen, I was thinking, yes, I know Charlie White is like an American golden boy, right? He's a legacy, but Igor is still there. Obviously, they tried to create this Midas school to like rival IM. It has not been immediately successful. Neither has Scott Moyer's school, if we're really being honest, right? They both are growing.
And fair enough, these things take time. Like,
obviously, they take time. But I think that there was this like impression that, oh my God, you're going to go to Scott Moyer. He's going to immediately make you as good as him and Tessa. It's like, well, coaching is different, and that is a different skill set. And I think, you know, he's moving up, and also like working on your pattern is different than being a head coach and all of that. If you lose Hawaii and Baker, is Marie-France going to, is she going to take Reed and Parsons? Because Zingis and Kolesnik, they're going to stay with Igor. I mean, he's just promoted them, you know, especially Kolesnik, for years. So would IM take Reed and Parsons? Because like Carrera seems like she has to stay at Michigan, and it seems like they're not getting the job done so far. So are Green and Parsons going to leapfrog? And then what does that mean with like the inner dynamics of who gets to be in the Scott camp and who gets to be in the Montreal?
I mean, at this point, I can't imagine Green and Parsons would make a third move. Even though I would be behind it. I would want them to. I bet they don't. I bet they
Wait a second. You're an opera singer.
I am.
You're going for gigs. You're competitive.
Yep.
You're ruthless.
Yep.
The Olympics are on the line. You've never been. Are you going to be like, I should stay with Olympic champion Charlie and Tanith in America, be All-American? Or be like, no, I'm taking that spot and I am. There's one spot open to the Olympics. And like, I don't know. I'm going to give Marie-France her payment.
I think it would be a personal thing, because is that the time in which you want to start shifting everything yet again?
If Marie-France, unless she was making a free program for Kaori this season, told me that she wanted me in her school, I would be like, when? Yes. Okay.
I would, but I would have approached them already.
Who knows that they didn't before?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Hello, they want you in. Yes. When? Tell me the day. Okay. You want me to skate at 3 a.m.? You have that spot open for 15? I'll do it. Okay. Yeah. I have to become nocturnal. I'll do it. All right.
I'll be ready for international travel. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Like, do we get to work up so we get the 4 a.m. slot later? Great. All right. I'm here for it.
Graduate to it. Yeah. Okay.
I'm skating on the session with Tunisia, the Republic of Monaco, and
Liechtenstein.
And who's our hot friend at the opening ceremonies who's always shirtless? And
the Samoans.
No, it starts with a T, right?
Tonga.
Yeah. Tonga. Yes. Okay. That's who Marie-France. Those are those judges at 3 a.m. Yeah. Okay. I'll be doing that.
Because it was interesting. If they really wanted to build a U.S. team, one would think, okay, you're going to go to like the junior ranks and pluck someone. But if they're looking for that immediacy with the connection politically with the judges, obviously you need someone relevant now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, I think dance is going to get a little bit more cutthroat this year. There's some movement that I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen with Hawaii? Who knows what's going to happen with Pomeranko, right? With Diana Davis and Gleb entering. What is it Terry going to try to pull? right? All of these little things, what's happening with Russia, all of these things are going back.
Olivia, we're going to see where Olivia falls into the mix, how the Brits are going to try to make their move.
Olivia, this two-parter, he's a hot tamale. He's a wild card. That Tim D, I don't know that I'm yet cautiously optimistic, but I'm excited to see them, and I think that they will be entertaining. I'm concerned. Okay.
That's what I would want you to say about my team. Yeah.
He has a YouTube channel, John. It's just like the vibes giving off. I know, it seems like they're a fun vibe, but are they competitive and serious? I don't know. Maybe he's different in the rink than outside of the rink.
Maybe not. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Also, like, they did the whole I am thing. Remember when Scott made a comment and then immediately apologized? He made a comment about how the German Federation didn't want to pay like 100% for competitions and training and things. He said that they wanted to represent Germany, and then they basically, like, the German Federation is not the most generous with stipends. So they're representing Spain. And then immediately, like, the next day was like, we want to thank Germany for all of their great support as a federation. And you're like, oh, this is an I am thing now. Okay, this is how the cult stays together. We keep all countries happy.
Right.
Okay, the ice dance messiness of it all, I think for this year, it's going to get interesting. Also because Fear and Gibson kind of moved ahead, and there's the Canadians and what's going to happen, and Caroline Soussis, and they had to go to Ireland, and just all of this stuff within Canada. I think it's going to get more competitive. There are a lot of top dance teams, but no one outstanding. So I'm
no clear front runners. Yeah.
I'm in it.
I think it'll be, even though we may not have like the most elite of teams right now, it does make each event that much more interesting when it could go one of several ways each time.
And it does make them all better, right? So there are those people who will get keyed in. I mean, look at how Olivia Smart and Adrian Diaz, the Olympic year, came out looking way better than they ever had before. They had a great program. They believed in it. They weren't messing up the twizzles like crazy. It was a huge improvement. So, well, we have seen a lot of new programs. And
okay, this is what I'm really excited to talk about the most. Yeah.
Do you cringe a little bit anytime Danny G and Terry make a new program for Valieva? You know that's going to be something, right? Like, it's not just like they have to have some gimmick. When I heard that they were getting to Wakanda Forever, I was like, Terry delivers, like something. It feels inappropriate. I don't even. The one thing I'm disappointed at. Okay, Adelia Petrosian, Michael Jackson. She has zero skating skills and seems like she's a little manic. Like, she's a weird skating style, and I think the jumps are inconsistent as a result. Just like her overall rhythm with the crossovers and her weight where it is on the blade, but. That's a crazy one. We haven't seen Akacheva because she's been injured. But Arseny Fedotov, I've loved his programs every year. I don't know that I love these as much as before. They seem to lack some of his charm and have a little bit more of the Danny G formula. But I was also happy that it seems like Arseny borrows a lot of moves and style from Kevin Aymoz. So we saw Kevin Aymoz do Bolero, and he was doing all the different transitions. And I thought, oh, good, some new things for Danny G to copy. Okay, we can. Because Kevin had way too much. And I felt like, oh, we can just edit and take some of these. This will be great.
But knowing Danny, he will add. He will add to it instead of just take things away from it.
What did you make of the Kevin Aymoz Bolero? I mean, obviously there were like highlights where there would be jumps and things like that.
And the red gloves, that was a tough.
I think he didn't have a costume, so he was just channeling Valieva, right?
And again, there must be some Bolero reference I'm not understanding in those red gloves or something.
The ballet. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is, what Kevin does that's so interesting are these different body moves, but it was like a mime where all I was watching were the red gloves because your eye is so drawn to them. So I'm too busy watching the hands sometimes. But man, when he goes down in these squatty positions and then can come up and do that like pull back stretch thing that like Tuk Demisheva always tried to do before her Lutz entrance, but like he does it like 110%, and it is just amazing. I wondered if he had to like rush it for this show because the ending seemed a little bit like chaotic, like maybe he had just not settled in all the way yet. But I think there's a great deal of potential in this program. It looked cool.
Yeah, I felt like he was skating above the energy of the music rather than like it. Like there's a grittiness to Bolero and a heaviness where you have to be like down low, like. And I never felt like Michelle nailed it with Bolero.
Yeah, it didn't. That was the one program that didn't really work for me. Even though I know she went to Christopher Dean and da 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 da. It didn't quite do it.
Christopher Dean doesn't mean that it's a great program. First
right.
of all, Marie France didn't mean that Kaori's is a great program.
Also, okay. We'll get there. Yeah.
So, in Bolero, right? I thought that Valieva skated through the music with just some arm movements. Mia Callan, I don't know why she is doing Bolero, or Carmen, or whatever. I don't know what she's doing. The free program mess.
Exactly. I mean, you're making the point right there.
She's dressed like Valieva, but it's other music. Yeah, I think Bolero is tough. Like Costner nailed it at the end. You're right, but it's a tough piece of music. I think Kevin can grow into it. I just don't know.
Too. I think this is.
I don't know if it's a quite match with his energy. Like, is he a little? Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
He has a very like earthy vibe to his skating. And yeah, I suppose this music, although heavy and intense, doesn't quite have that same earthy quality as some of his movements. But I believe in this vehicle for him.
Shoma's Bolero wasn't my favorite either. So I mean, I just think it's a tough piece of music for skaters to really.
Yeah. Especially single skaters.
But he was doing so many cool movements. And I was like, I wonder what will actually be in the program. I mean, the red gloves were. God bless. What else did you think of Kaori's second go round? Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, I like her.
I like
Kaori. And I like Marie France. It made it generic. You want to talk about formula? It almost read as a formula.
I saw that they were trying to make her like have more performance quality and stuff in parts. To me, the program just emphasized a lack of extension and lack of posture that was less apparent last year. And I don't know why this program or dress or choreography is doing it. It just doesn't work for me at all.
And I mean, on a side note, I just loved Lauryn Hill's voice. So that was a nice addition that I wasn't expecting. But what was also very strange for me is there's a key change smack dab in the middle of the piece that 100% is jarring to me. When it goes into the feeling good section, it was like a bit upsetting from a musical standpoint.
I don't know. The whole program is a miss for me.
Yeah. It's just not, there's no there, in my opinion, even though she tried to do like an edgy ending. But
she can, I think this program, it's weird because she seems like she's doing, her full program arsenal. I mean, she's missing the loop at the end, but it looks like
she's still having the Sao issue.
She's way further ahead than she was last year, but she looks very vulnerable to me. Like this program looks really beatable to me. I could see people not loving it.
Yeah.
If Hyenli or Yelim or I don't know.
Or Mai. I was upset. Okay, go with me on this one. This may be an unpopular opinion, because I wonder if some people will think the Holst, the Jupiter from the planets, is too heavy. I freaking loved it. I was like, here's a piece not to just be the opera singer person, but I don't really count Bolero because it's so overused. This was like one of the only moments of classical music we had. And somehow it was capturing that like light, happy version of Mai, yet gave it some more gravitas and made her same skating seem that much more interesting. I think this is going to be a very important program for Mai.
It was a good edit. I loved the spirals, although she could turn her foot out doing that.
Remember, Dick Button, turn your foot out, my dear. Yeah.
Because the rest is so nice.
I think it's the best program I've ever seen her have.
I think it's the most we're going to see from her, right? Like, she's clearly just like a very happy, light skater. I don't think it's ever going to be like unexpected or interesting. She doesn't have what Satoko has, that natural, like.
That can't be taught, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
She has got like bronze medal energy, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
but I think that would be a big gift for her. And I think this will be the program that can do it. This is the program that is best for sort of trying to elevate.
it was nice. It was very nice.
But yeah, but not in the same way like last season or the seasons prior were.
I didn't like last season.
Yeah, I think this is the best material she's had, and it may be her ceiling.
Yes.
But I'm glad to see her at
I
that.
thought the dress worked well with the music too. Like the dress had a nice effect on the skirt when she was doing some of the movements. So yes, I felt like we were watching her ceiling while we were doing it. I thought the music was nice. I thought she had interesting, part of the British theme music at the end. So I thought it was an interesting arrangement. I liked it overall. I thought it was good. I thought it was very good.
It was very smart for her and her team to have selected this piece of music and come up with this program.
Now, Luna Hendrickx is going full on Ashley Wagner route.
I'm glad you said that, because I was like, I mean, she was in the Tanya 94 dress, that red, but I was like, yeah, it's still giving me some sort of Ashley vibes. And we know that Ashley was struggling with injuries and things like that. There's an element of, I'm almost going to phone parts in and just give you a shimmy to say I'm doing a thing.
There's a lack of good technique with Luna, but we like her so much. I actually think that she should move to Raphael to just, I don't think it's going to get much better. So we need to train the heck out of her.
That's what I didn't know, because on occasion, like her spin extensions can be really lovely and she can hit a nice.
The epitome of Luna skating for me is the layback to Biellmann spin, where she has the bent leg that's not to the side, it's kind of under and it's all wrong, and then it goes into the most gorgeous Biellmann, and you're like, it's almost right, but it's not.
Yeah, and
you're overlooking something, right? Like you're overlooking the jump technique, but we like her and we want to like her more. And I worry she looks like she's behind in her training. She was quite slow.
Choppy. Like I was like, somebody called Tracy and get her in one of those classes. Like every edge was so choppy and short, it seemed.
That would help. But she's under spotlights, but she's been doing tons of shows all summer, which is great for experience and someone that has her razzmatazz. But I remember with Ashley Wagner in 2013, we were like, she's doing a lot of shows. Is she training? She was missing the second sow. She only did sows in the show. I don't know.
Yeah.
I worry, but she's entertaining. She's one of the more interesting skaters. She's not just like everyone else. So I'm rooting for her to, but I don't know that I believe in her.
I'm sort of in the same boat. She stands for something. She represents something. She harkens back to something that you want to see rewarded, but yet there are very clear flaws.
Like I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I don't trust her team.
And they really helped her last year, the judges, in holding her up in certain moments. And I don't know if they can do that again this season.
She's always been the one that's had like the tackiest music edits. That's Celine Dion from years back. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she's got star quality.
She just has a presence, just her standing there.
She would have been great in
1994. Begins, your eye is drawn.
She would have been a killer in 1994. Like she's like a José Chouinard. She would have really done well in that group. Yeah. It's yeah. Okay.
Oh, let's talk about this one. Was that the last of the ladies we saw there? I think so.
Yeah.
Then what about Kazuki?
Okay. He has this minimalist program. It looked a little bit Lambiel. I thought it was very interesting and great under spots. Will it be as effective under competition lights? I don't know. He has to carry it even more, right? Like he has to give even more energy.
And again, this is someone who got pegged as the charming, charismatic performer.
Neither program is charming or charismatic.
But it is stunning. I mean, one assumed because of the performance quality and like all this sort of energy and charisma he has, that he might be able to do something like this. I did not expect to be so moved by how beautiful it was and how heartfelt it was and how open and slow and gorgeous it was. I was the most impressed. I'm always happy to see him, but I already know to expect that kind of takeaway. I didn't know this was possible, and I loved it.
I enjoy his skating so much. I'm already nervous for him. So I think like I probably judge him harder than other skaters because knowing that he's against Shoma and Yuma and Kao, and then you have like Soda Yamamoto. I mean, he cannot have.
But the material is set up for him. Now the rest is up to him.
But the extension with him, he needs to go to reformer Pilates. We need to be pushing through the balls of the feet on that roof to work. The bent legs have got to go. He needs to maximize the program component scores, and what he has a little to work on in posture and extension. Not as like
the arms.
Right. He's so good, Jonathan, and he's so inviting to get to that next level. Is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
to where he's not just like the Kevin Aymoz, Kazuki Pleasant skater, but like because he has to be to make the Japanese team this year.
Yeah. And this could be an important program for him. The only thing, it sort of didn't end musically.
No, the music doesn't build enough for me.
And so we're in a lovely mode. I wondered if there was a way to sort of surge something that says a little bit more in those final moments. That was the only thing I thought, you know. But also, I've not seen, this was a Misha program. And I've not seen Misha kind of do this sort of nuanced, sophisticated sense.
I feel like for himself, he has, when we've seen him do like his Instagram stuff. But yeah, I liked it very much. I like it. Okay. Your team, Riku and Ryuichi. Was that Julie Marcotte that decided to edit together Moonlight Sonata with I Put a Spell on You? That was unexpected.
Well, and at first it starts, okay, my first concept is like, oh, okay, she definitely loves Sway. Yeah. That like the packaging more and more is like with the dress styles and with the overall approach. But I liked this new packaging for them. It suddenly made them seem world champion, a bit more mature, a bit more adult, a bit more elevated, a bit more all this sort of stuff. Then it started and I was like, oh, Moonlight Sonata. And then it's I Put a Spell on You, and it was like almost working with like the tempi like going together, but I was like, this is weird. I don't like it.
They had an awesome death spiral entrance.
I loved that, where she was like practically laying down before she entered it. It was very cool. And at the last moment, I liked that very much. And then it worked perfectly to end the way they do, where she's down.
Yeah. So I liked that.
Lifts always great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the camera view we saw for their side-by-side triple toes, we couldn't quite tell. She was out of frame, and he was like, we saw his like midsection.
Well, again, I think we're seeing like, who knows how these videos are captured, right? So what did you make of Ilia Malinin's Mulligania? I thought that Shaylin Bourne did a good job making him.
I like when we haven't talked about it and we agree, because then I'm like, okay, he felt that also. I think she deserves an award. I think she took on the challenge and she did a really good job at the assignment.
She got this most amount of improvement out of him as we are going to get from last year to this, right? Yeah. And you could see like, oh, he's trying to use that upper body a bit. Yes.
And smart to then incorporate, because he does know how to leap. So there were these big death drop moments, these big stag jump moments that I think are very effective, and he can do that. And it helps sort of lend itself to more of a presentational performance score.
I feel like his legs are so long and they work so well with the jumping, but he doesn't really extend them or do anything. Sometimes they're just kind of hanging there. Yeah. There's not a lot of intention with his whole movement. And because his legs are so long, you could sort of, he's working his upper body. Okay, that's what was right. But I think the whole body moving as one is not there yet. But
I thought, again, I think the award here goes to Shaylin for knowing the task at hand and doing a really good job at it.
She added some really cool highlights to the program that will make a big difference.
Yes.
In this outing. Okay, what did you think of the Jason Brown program?
Lovely. I would say what confused me also, I never know why they feel the need for the spotlights in general. Like, what if it's just like a little less light or something like that? But I would rather see the whole thing. But I was so distracted because was he on the same ice surface?
I think so.
But there was suddenly that giant.
It looked like someone took the video with their phone, though. This one really.
Maybe it was just under from a different angle. I was so distracted by the logo on the ice. It was more of the same, but I love the same.
Okay, he has developed a genre of short program.
Yeah.
Bluesy, angsty, like I don't even know how to define it. This one has
sharp at times, like in those spin movements, like the perfect like fist grabs at the exact point in the music.
Okay. I felt a couple of things. It looks like Jason has not gone into his summer training mode yet. He has been doing show after show after show. So I feel like we're seeing him like physically like exhausted before he is about to actually like start conditioning and really training, right? And he doesn't have to be ready for the Grand Prix. So this is fine. The first half, I was like, okay, this is more of the same. The second half, what he is doing with his feet and the movements where he's pushing through, going up on the toe and like moving back, flutter stepping, and is so incredible. I was blown away by the second half of that performance. I thought it was so good. And it's look, he is not in condition yet. He is not, this program needs time to grow. Yes, I can understand where people are going to say that this is more of the same, but it's more of the same amazingness. But the second half is so good. Watch his feet, watch what he's doing, think about his movement and how difficult that is. No, we're not going to see quads from him in this short program, but like it was so good. It was so good. I was blown away. Can't tell you enough how good I thought that was. That was absolutely mind-blowing. So.
And again, even just these 3 short programs we saw from the guys here, setting up for another awesome season of men's skating.
Yes.
That with very interesting moves, varied moves, very committed performances, all totally different from one another. I'm very much looking forward to that discipline.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting more excited about this season. It's pulling me in a little bit. I wasn't sure early on, but yeah. Also, Lindsay Thorngren did a great job in Charleston. I don't know if we mentioned that earlier. We filmed.
Well, we knew she was in Charleston, but no video has surfaced, right? Because I want to see the Sandra work.
Yeah, and she worked with Shailene for the free. So I don't know. I'm ready. Also, Dr. Shvetsky did an interview. I'm gonna do the whole As the Blade Turns. I've been working on it.
That was a tough read.
It has been so hot here. And like I've been running outside even, and like it has been so hot. And the gaslighting was so much. And my brain couldn't make sense of it.
Yes.
I was like, wait, but we know that he's hired by the Ministry of Sport, right? But then he is trying to put the blame on her. But that's his I couldn't figure out what the chess moves were. It was so
even when confronted about the rowers, he was like, yeah, I did it, but I didn't do it. And you were like, wait, what?
That was a lot of cluster B energy going on in that interview. Then he was like blaming her, but then he's like, we didn't protect her. But then was he saying that she was like calling to ask what she could take all the time? But then he's saying that there's no doping, but that
it contradicted itself the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah, which just tells you they don't know up from down with this.
And they're all nervous.
Yeah, and they should be. I mean, and then again, it mimics some like political stuff also, but this whole like now he's suing ARD over the film and all.
I don't know. why he's suing, and we need to look at that. But I remember that Hayo wrote an article during the Olympics. He didn't, and I don't know what the specific thing he reported things that have been reported factually elsewhere, but people often file lawsuits like for show, right? Oh, well, he sued you.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Kim Kardashian sued the distributor of her tape, right? Like there's right? But then things get thrown out or things get settled, right? Like things get, so it doesn't mean anything that he sued them. How about say that he had a business for xenon gas? He does have a business for xenon gas.
It's verified. And he was just like, oh, well, the Americans do it, but with argon. And I was like, what?
I don't know what he was suing Hayo for.
Slander?
Like,
it was just this vague.
Abby Pollock is the one that really posted all about Shvetsky on Twitter. So it was
a weird article. It made me feel weird.
I felt strange and disgusted afterwards.
Oh.
It was too much gaslighting. Like there's only so much you can take in a day. Sometimes it's funny with the Russians, and sometimes it's amusing, and sometimes it's just
such a fantasy. Yeah.
This I didn't even know. I felt like I drank like bad homemade alcohol, like some bad.
You need to like shower after it. Like there was something
so bad moonshine in a shower. Yeah, it just. Yeah,
we'll find out in September, won't we? Oh wait, let's see what we actually find out. Yeah,
it should look sexy, everyone. Bye now.